We haven't even finished round two, and the 2022 Wimbledon Championships are a complete mess. Let's talk about it. So yes, Wimbledon is underway, and there's been a lot of things going on in these past few days. Unfortunately, a lot of big names and top seeds have been sent packing, the biggest name being Serena Williams. Williams played her first singles match in a year Tuesday, and it was truly a comeback match to remember. In her second ever longest match played, Williams fell in the opening round of Wimbledon to France's Harmony Tan, 7-5, 1-6, 7-6. Briefly talking about the match, Serena had a slow start the first couple of games and wasn't moving her feet nor going after her serve at all. I honestly thought that it'd be another nightmare injury slip with the way that Tan was slicing and drop shotting like crazy, and I feel that Serena had that in mind too, which was why she was tentative with her movement. She eventually felt more comfortable and started getting up to those drop shots with a quickness before finishing points off with overheads or touch volleys. At one point, Serena was absolutely steamrolling and reeled off 4 straight games to go up 4-2, 4-15 on serve, might I add. Unfortunately, that would be one of the biggest turning points of the entire match, as Williams fumbled a few forehands and volleys to hand Tan the break and a second life. The Frenchwoman took full advantage of this opening and elevated her level while Serena's dropped. In the second set, Williams did regain that level we saw midway through the first, being more proactive and taking charge whenever Tan gave her weaker replies. After Williams dominated the second, Tan went to the locker room likely to reset and break her opponent's rhythm. It did work because although Serena did get the first break in the third game of the decider, she wasn't quite as sharp as in the second. Tan started mixing it up even more, hitting some slice forehands and chip shots to keep Williams at bay and prevent her from attacking and moving forward. At 4-all, Serena played an incredible couple of points, hitting an astounding drop shot cross-court winner before scrambling for her life to get the break and serve for the match. The energy and atmosphere that game were phenomenal, and Venus was just as hype as I was, and that's saying something because I was going crazy. Despite being up 30-15 and 2 points away from victory, Serena got a bit shaky and was unable to close out the match when she tried to serve for it. Tan once again took advantage of the momentum shift and got a match point herself at 6-5. Serena then turned it around, saving the match point with a swinging volley winner before storming out to a 4-love lead in the deciding 10-point tiebreaker. Giving credit to Tan, she played some exceptional tennis to level it at 4-all, and at the end, she was just the more steady, consistent player, which is why she won the match ultimately. This match result was very tough for me as a Serena fan, especially because she really could have and should have won this match in straight sets. Even aside from the first set flop, she had a lot of openings in the third set that she couldn't take, which I think is rooted in the lack of competitive match play. Serena's Serena for a reason, but it's a huge ask for her at 40 years old to come back after a year of not playing professional tennis, at a slam nonetheless. I'm honestly incredibly proud and impressed by how well she played, and I know a lot of y'all will look at me funny because it didn't look the best at times, but when you consider the circumstances plus the opponent, this wasn't a bad loss. I truly believe that Serena would have beaten a lot of other players, but Tan is extremely tricky and a frustrating opponent to play for a comeback match. It was reminiscent of her Indian Wells comeback match where she played Monica Niculescu in probably her top 3 messiest match wins of her career. Just like in that match, the emotions were high, and you could see how much this one meant for Serena with her epic reactions after winning certain points. We were robbed, I tell you, of that post-match victory celebration. Robbed. Anyways, Serena's expectations were pretty high as she said that she had the sole purpose of winning the tournament. I just don't feel like she prepared well enough to reach that goal. Remember, she only announced the comeback 2 weeks ago and likely didn't practice a ton in the months prior. She thought doubles with Ons was enough, and while she did play well in those 2 matches at Eastbourne, singles is a totally different animal. The biggest thing though that I feel that she missed was the pressure aspect of closing out important points and ultimately the match. Serena did tell the press that she plans on coming back for the US Open, and if she wants to go deep there, she's got to play more tennis. Cincinnati Open won't be enough, I feel. She needs to play in Toronto, maybe even San Jose. I am optimistic about her chances of doing well though, as the first serve was strong against Tan, though the second serve needs some help. The ground and net game were decent, and so was the movement, which is absolutely incredible for a 40-year-old. Incredible. I think this was a positive match and experience for Serena and Rena's army because first, we didn't even think that she'd be back out on court, and then it was a great final Wimbledon match for her if she does plan on hanging it up soon. Last year was heartbreaking, and though she didn't progress to round 2 still, her body held up nicely and allowed her to finish on her own terms. As far as when we'll see Serena back out on court, she herself isn't sure, but tells us that we'll just have to wait and see where she pops up next. Now, while Serena is no longer in the competition, big sis Venus will be making her long-awaited comeback as she and Brit Jamie Murray were granted a wild card into the mixed doubles tournament. The mixed draw is actually already out as Venus and Jamie will meet Alishka Rozolka and Michael Venus in the opening round. This was a very pleasant surprise because Venus told fans that she wouldn't be playing at Wimbledon and rather would just support Serena from the sidelines. Rumors began swirling of a mixed appearance from V on Sunday when she was spotted practicing on site. Williams has a pretty accomplished mixed doubles career, winning the 1999 Australian and French Open mix. Plus, she made the finals here at Wimbledon in 2006 alongside Bob Bryan. She played mixed last year at SW19 alongside Nick Kyrgios, but the pair had to withdraw after winning their first round match due to an injury picked up by the Aussie. V will be in good company playing with Jamie, who's a 5-time mixed doubles slam winner and a 2-time men's doubles champion. I personally think it's cool that the younger siblings Serena and Andy played mixed in 2019, and now the older brother and sister will take the court with one another. Like with Serena at Eastbourne, I honestly don't know what to expect from Venus because we haven't seen her in action since last August at the Chicago 250. Movement and overall consistency was a big issue throughout 2021, but with her covering half the court, that first concern won't be as big. Regardless of how well her and Jamie do, it'll just be great to see Venus out there playing at Wimbledon, period, and I hope the 5-time singles champion enjoys herself out there. Now, the Brits in attendance at center court did not have the greatest time Wednesday, as both their biggest stars, Andy Murray and Emma Raducanu, were eliminated. Murray fell to John Isner, who played phenomenally in his 6-4, 7-6, 6-7, 6-4 victory. 10th seed Emma Raducanu was outclassed by Frenchwoman Caroline Garcia, 6-3, 6-3. Now, while Garcia is ranked outside the top 50, this isn't an upset by any stretch to me, as first, Caroline is a very talented player and showed that today. She was better than the Brit in basically every aspect, from the ground, on serve, and especially up in the forecourt. Andy Murray said years back that Garcia will be #1 in the world, and the 28-year-old has struggled to live up to those expectations. After a rough few years though, she seemed to rediscover that spark, and is on a bit of a hot streak at the moment as she won the Bad Homburg title leading into this one. Raducanu's exit highlights a definite sophomore slump when you look at her meteoric rise at last year's US Open. Since then, she's failed to make it past the second round at any major. When asked in the press whether she feels the pressure of being this unexpected slam winner, the 19-year-old has some things to get off her chest.
I think I've been asked this question in every press conference, but I am 19 years old, and yes, I have had attention, but I'm a slam champion, so no one's going to take that away from me. And yeah, if anything, the pressure's on that who haven't done that.
Emma said what she said, and what she said was right in my opinion. People often try to discredit her US Open victory because her path to the final wasn't necessarily the toughest, but slams are not given, they're earned, and she played some phenomenal tennis to claim that title. A lot of great players struggle before winning their sophomore slams, and I think Raducanu has the potential to win again. It's just going to take a lot of time and honestly good guidance. Now, despite her 11-15 record on the year, Raducanu will be making her top 10 debut after Wimbledon, as of course points are not being awarded here. Going back to the tournament, Raducanu's section, as predicted, is pretty wide open after her and Danielle Collins' early exits. All the players in this draw are playing great tennis at the moment, from Boskova, Risk, Armitage, and Zhang. The last two were quarterfinalists in 2019, and I can definitely see one of them repeating that finish here. Meanwhile, 2018 champ Angie Kerber and world number 2 Ons Jabeur are still alive and on course for a 4th round affair after they both picked up 2 solid wins to reach the last 32. Shout out to 19-year-old Diane Perry, by the way, who makes her 2nd straight slam 3rd round after she upset Kanepi in round 1. Perry made the 3rd round at Roland Garros after beating defending champ Krejcikova in the opening round there. Another mouthwatering 4th rounder that's still on tap is between Maria Sakkari and Jelena Ostapenko, who are each 1 win away from meeting. Ostapenko is my pick to take the title, and she's been looking very good thus far, as she hit 45 winners to just 28 unforced errors in her 2nd round match. Maria's been playing pretty well herself and is definitely killing it in the outfit department, wearing this killer crop top and shorts combo. Now, the most wide open section in the bottom half, and quite frankly entire draw, is the 8th, which is totally seatless after Anett Kontaveit and Annalena Kalinina both lost today. 2 very strong contenders for the title lost in round 1, as Belinda Bencic and Beatriz Haddad-Maia both fell in 3 sets. Bencic will be extremely disappointed with her result, as she came back from 5-1 down in the 2nd to level it at 1 set all. That match was suspended due to darkness, and she ended up losing the decider 6-2 to send Wang Qiang into the 2nd round. Meanwhile, Haddad-Maia, who went on a 12-match win streak and picked up 2 grass titles in the lead-ups, lost to Slovakian Kaja Juvan. This shouldn't have come as too big of a surprise, as Juvan is a tough competitor, plus Haddad-Maia has never made it past the 2nd round at any slam. Meanwhile, Kontaveit losing early also wasn't a surprise because, as I said in my tournament preview, she's been struggling a lot after making the Doha finals. Some of this is due to her contracting COVID during the clay swing, but we have to remember that the Estonian doesn't perform well in slams anyways. None of these players remaining in this section are ranked inside the top 50, so it would be a great opportunity for them if they were awarded ranking points. I'm going to root for Heather to come through here because I feel like she deserves a nice run at Wimbledon, her home slam. Moving up to the top of the women's draw, Swiatek's section is intact for the most part, as I expected Putintseva and Teichmann to lose. Now in Pegula's section, we were anticipating a 2nd round battle between Garbiñe Muguruza and Sloane Stephens, but they both ended up losing. Sloane's loss was understandable, as Xinwen Zheng is a great player, plus Stephens had her chances to make this match even more competitive. Now Muguruza, I don't have much to say because I'm just gonna save my thoughts for a whole separate video I'm geared towards her that's coming soon. This season has just been really sad to watch, and I honestly think it's time for her to fire Conchita Martinez. Now a woman who is on the up and up is Bianca Andreescu, who's set to face off against Elena Rybakina in round 2. ADC Jessica Pegula is still alive as well, after earning an impressive straight sets win over Donna Vekic. The 3rd section is probably one of the best, as Badosa, Kvitova, and Halep are all still alive. Kvitova did have a bit of a scare in round 1, but I think getting past Jasmine Paolini can be a big turning point here. Halep's looking the most solid thus far, as she dominated Mukova 3-2. She'll also be pretty happy that Camila Giorgi is out and won't be a potential 3rd round opponent. Lastly, the only section with all 4 seeds remaining is Pliskova's, as her, Sorribes Tormo, Anisimova, and Gauff are all still alive. Coco had the biggest scare after getting by Elena Gabriela Rus 7-5 in the 3rd. Gauff has got to play better from here on out, because if she doesn't, Anisimova will be sending her home in round 3. Moving over to the men's side, top seed Novak Djokovic seems to be getting better round by round after dominating Kokkinakis 1-4-2. He'll get countryman Mirmir Kecmanovic next, which could be an interesting one. Then towards the bottom, Schottenbosch champ Tim van Riethoven has been continuing his superb run of form, taking out 15th seed Riley Opelka for his first slam 3rd round appearance. He has a good chance to make the 2nd week too, next playing the rather inconsistent Basilashvili. Carlos Alcaraz, meanwhile, seems to have found a 2nd win after his near opening round exit to Jan-Lennard Struff. He'll have to face another big serving German next in Oscar Otte, who I think can send the 5th seed packing. Meanwhile, up top, Jannik Sinner and John Isner will do battle for a spot in the round of 16. Now, while Alcaraz's section looks completely intact, the remaining 2 in the top half are totally wide open. First, Casper Ruud, which is expected as the Norwegian isn't as strong on grass. Plus, Carreño Busta has never won a singles match at Wimbledon, a streak that continues as the Spaniard was forced to retire due to injury. I predicted Francis Tiafoe to come through here, and as the only seed remaining, I think he has a pretty good shot. And then 7th seed Hubie Hurkacz was eliminated in round 1 after losing a bizarre 5th setter to Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. Hurkacz was down 2 sets to love and faced match points, down 5-3, 40 love in the 3rd. He managed to claw his way back and ultimately served forward at 5-4 in the 5th, but couldn't close. He also was leading 7-4 in the final set tiebreak, but Davidovich Fokina was too strong at the end. After pulling off that Herculean effort, Alejandro suffered a heartbreaking 5-set loss to Yuri Vesely, which had a very bizarre finish. Davidovich Fokina had received a code violation for an audible obscenity some point earlier in the match. After going down 9-7 in the deciding tiebreaker, Fokina launched the ball outside of the court in anger, which he received another code violation for. Infamous umpire Carlos Ramos gave Davidovich Fokina a point penalty, which meant the match was effectively over. The Spaniard couldn't believe it and just sat out there on court in disbelief afterwards. I personally don't agree with giving a point penalty on match point, but rules are rules, and as we all know, Ramos is a stickler on those rules. Hurkacz losing did hurt my draw because I had him reaching the semifinals again this year. He's one of the few people I felt that could actually challenge Novak here, but who knows, maybe Cam Norrie or even Tommy Paul could do something. Another man who I had reached in the semifinals was Matteo Berrettini, who had to withdraw before his first round match after contracting COVID. Berrettini's departure was a big blow to the tournament as he was last year's finalist and was on fire, winning 2 back-to-back grass titles this season. His section is pretty wide open for opportunity, and I think we'll see either de Minaur or Draper in the quarters. Another title contender, Marin Cilic, also contracted COVID and was forced to withdraw before the tournament started. These 2 COVID withdrawals will benefit Nadal as Berrettini was a potential semifinal opponent and Cilic 4th round. Rafa's projected quarters opponent is also out as Felix Auger-Aliassime fell to Maxime Cressy in 4. Felix didn't play that bad, it was just a very tough draw. Cressy was also a tough out as his big serve and volley game just got him to the Eastbourne finals last week. Now Eastbourne champion Taylor Fritz is still alive, and with the exits of Rune and Evans, will be the overwhelming favorite to make the last 8. Stefanos Tsitsipas meanwhile has a much more difficult section with Kyrgios, Bautista Agut, and even Shapovalov looming. Looking ahead to day 4, Nadal and Goff start on center, while Tsitsipas and Swiatek take court 1. Badosa, Kyrgios, Pegula, and Halep are on court 2. That's all for this video, and I want to know in the comments y'all's thoughts about Wimbledon and whether you're enjoying it thus far. Personally, it's been a bit off to me with the lack of star power and lack of highlights posted on their YouTube channel. Anyways, make sure you all subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post more Wimbledon updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.